Welcome to the latest episode of The Independent. I'm Pete Sampson, joined as always by my co-host Matt Fortuna. We're both atop Notre Dame Stadium after Notre Dame's 34-24 win over USC, which I think was one. We were both thrilled it was played. Some concern during the day of whether we'd get there. And then in the end, it was a pretty good indicator of where Notre Dame is as a program and where USC is as a program. I thought Notre Dame sort of, in some ways, played more to type tonight than they have at any point this season, including some of their blowout wins. So I asked Marcus Freeman this afterwards, and he didn't totally agree with my phrasing, but I thought this had to be one of the more satisfying wins of his 4 years here. And obviously he's had some big ones, but to win the way that they won tonight against who they beat, without the guys that they had built their offense and defensive lines around, I think tonight had to just feel incredibly good and rewarding for Marcus Freeman as a head coach and Notre Dame at large as a program.
I think so, Pete. I mean, when your best players are the ones driving the bus on this one, Jeremiyah Love, what more can you say about him? I mean, to watch him out there essentially headhunt, and not always the best thing in the world. I mean, he had one late in the second quarter where he could have easily gone out of bounds and saved them some time, but that guy had probably his career best game in a career that's been filled with great games.
Not probably. Yeah.
Well, he's had so many. I mean, this was obviously the signature moment. I wouldn't be surprised if he has more of them. Jadarian Price doing it on kickoff return again. It was funny to hear Marcus Freeman talk about that almost in a holy-ish, not holy-ish, holy.
He had a few holy references after the game tonight,
which was interesting. And the atmosphere was electric. I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty throughout this day. I mean, you texted me earlier today and said, pack a bag and stay at my place just in case. And I did that. I will not be staying at your place, I don't think. Yeah. But up to you. I waited a long time to leave Chicago because the last thing I wanted to do was get stuck on the road or have to turn around. And I missed all the heavy stuff. And it did come down pretty hard at the end. But I know it's easy for me to say from, up here on the 9th floor in the press box, but I love this type of football weather. I don't want the lightning to happen, which is going to delay the game. But, as long as it's raining, I felt like that was going to be an advantage for Notre Dame. And you could argue the game turned on a play call that should have never been called, let alone called an atmosphere like this one, an environment like this one. I'll give USC credit. They elected to receive from the get-go. They march right down, and you're thinking, here we go again, Texas A&M all over again with the secondary. USC, which is the one that's driving the bus behind, at the very least, altering this rivalry. They looked like they were going to dictate everything on their own terms early, and then Notre Dame comes right back. And I just thought it was a great, fun, very weird football game where one team did one thing incredibly well offensively. The other team did the other thing incredibly well offensively. And I still don't think either defense had a real clue about how to stop them. Notre Dame did the less bad job of the two defenses and certainly came up with some big plays when it mattered most. But it was just a fascinating culture clash on the football field tonight. And in the end, this was Notre Dame's style of game, and they were able to pull away and at the end hang on. And I felt there were parts of this game where I felt like they were rolling out the red carpet for USC to come in here and steal this thing. And
it was definitely, and then USC was like a hold my beer.
Yeah. I mean, did you see Lincoln's post game?
I heard that he just said dumb play call.
He said dumb play call and didn't elaborate, which, I'll give him credit there. That's probably the best thing you could say.
It was a dumb play.
It was, and even Adon Shuler seemed very confused by it too when he got asked about the play when he recovered it. But that was one you're watching and you're just like, where are they going with this? You're going to lose a lot of yards. It sucked all the momentum that USC had out of it, and they just were never able to really recover.
Yeah, it's statistically Jeremiyah Love, 24 carries, 228 and a touchdown. The 228 yards are the most rushing yards in Notre Dame Stadium by a Notre Dame player ever, and the 228 are the second most by any player in the history of the series, behind Charles White, who put up 261 in 1979 on 42 carries, I believe. So an all-time great Notre Dame performance by Jeremiyah Love, an all-time great Notre Dame performance in the USC series. And I go back to a conversation I had with Jaywan Sider in the preseason when I talked to him for the Love story that I did. And he's like, I really pressed Jeremiyah that, you had some good highlights last year, but you weren't like the dominant back on the field. Like, what did he do in the play? And this is Sider's words. It's like, what did you do in the playoff other than the Indiana run and the Penn State run? Like, those were great. But like, you had to be the best. You needed to be the best player on the field in a big game more than you were last year. And he was the best player on the field tonight by a wide margin, probably over Jadarian Price, frankly, who would be second. Although, look, Makai Lemon, quite good.
Yeah, but they held him in check. I mean,
yeah, I just think like
you got to pick your poison.
They did a nice job on him for sure. I think he opened some things up for Lane, who delivered some and then didn't deliver at other times. But Love was he was phenomenal. Like, I don't think it's too late to launch a Heisman campaign October 19th.
I don't either. And I thought, we were trending towards CJ Carr, who I think, came back to earth in a big way tonight, but not in a damaging way. But I mean, you mentioned Love being the best player on the field. That's on a night where Jadarian Price had 209 all-purpose yards and 2 touchdowns. Jeremiyah Love, 265 yards from scrimmage, 1 touchdown. And again, he just ran with such authority, the way he seeks out the contact. And it's funny hearing Marcus Freeman talk about this one meant a little bit more. It's a rivalry game. Jalen Sneed said the same thing. We took it personal. Like, this is the greatest intersectional rivalry. Like, it meant a lot to us. Jeremiyah Love gets up there. And he was just like, yeah, I don't care. Like, we're playing football. I want to go out there and like beat. I'm paraphrasing here, but he just was so nonplussed about all of it, which it's perfect, right? Like, that's him
Jeremiyah
to a
Love.
T. Like I always go back to like that Jerry West quote right before he died, where he's like, a lot of players say I got that dog in me. Well, I had a wolf in me. A wolf eats dogs. Like, that's Jeremiyah Love. Like, he DGAF. Like, and he played like it tonight.
Yeah, that's for the whole game. Like, I think it's so significant that it wasn't just highlights. It was like every down, every carry. I mean, right down to CJ Carr's touchdown run at the end. Who's throwing the lead block? Jeremiyah Love. I mean, that it felt this entire night felt so much more like last season than in any other performance this year. This was a throwback all the way to 2024. But that's the kind of thing that if you're Marcus Freeman, you should feel great about that going into the bye week. And put the CFP stuff aside. Like, just if Notre Dame can recreate this, if they can win with CJ Carr throwing for $136, throwing a terrible interception and make some really just some off throws. I don't think he completed a pass longer than 15 yards down the field all game. Which, like, if you told me it's kind of like it. If you told me that before, I would say Notre Dame probably had lost. But they would need to stretch the field, because if he can't stretch the field, USC is going to sit on the run and kind of take it away. Well, it didn't matter how much USC sat on the run, including in short yardage. Notre Dame picked up some 3rd and shorts and 4th and shorts tonight, which is something they had really struggled with to date.
Yeah, the red zone offense. I mean, Marcus got asked about what he's going to work on the bye week or where they can improve, and they didn't get too nitty gritty because you want to celebrate this win. But red zone offense still is troubling. I mean, just the way they're able to break off those big runs and then just completely stall with those 2 backs when you've got a 1st and goal at the 3 against the USC run defense that has not been good is just very, very alarming to me. I mean, I don't know when that eventually comes back to bite them. It almost did tonight. CJ Carr tried to make a little too much happen, and conversely, Jaden Maeva, same thing. I mean, the pick he threw to Christian Gray was just a bad thrown right down the middle of the field. Marcus Freeman had a very funny anecdote about how Gray had given up the touchdown, I believe, on a drive before. And he said, I told him on the sideline, nobody feels bad for you. I kind of got in his face. He goes out there, gets a pick, and he comes right back to me and starts showing at me, and I like that. And I mean, I tweeted this at the end when, we're on the field. It's pouring rain. Can't really see from 80 yards away, but it looks like he may have another pick. And it's that guy's career against USC, and I'm talking 2 games here, really, like could be its own Netflix documentary, just like the trials and tribulations, the ups and downs of being an elite cornerback, an elite institution where, you're going to get got and you're going to come back there and have a short memory and make big plays. I don't want to harp on the officiating because I just don't think they deserve our time. This was abominable. And I'm not even talking about, Notre Dame got hosed, USC got hosed. These guys just looked incompetent. I mean, the two plays that they did initially rule in Notre Dame's favor, the Gray pick and the Shuler fumble recovery at the goal line, we would have been done with this podcast an hour ago if they didn't make those terrible calls and then make us sit through reviews for them. And then the last USC drive, it was the Maeva play where it was not intentional grounding, but people wanted it to be intentional grounding. And he kind of got hit and lost the ball. He clearly threw it upon retrospect. But the refs never did anything. Only once Notre Dame started running it back did they blow it dead. And I just thought it was emblematic of a crew that just lost complete control of the game tonight and really didn't have, refs are never going to be popular. I get it. But when you're playing hallelujah, when you're showing every replay over and over and over again, and when the fans are liquored up and they're out for blood and it's a night game and it's rainy, like, it just was a bad combination all around. And I don't think this officiating crew rose to the moment, if there is such a thing. I just thought it was very, very poor. And again, I'm not even saying any one of these calls was horrible, but the fact that they called some of them on the field that they had to overturn, when to the naked eye, it was very clear these balls were on the ground, I just thought was just a waste of everybody's time.
And yet, probably the best officiating performance I've seen here in the last month, which is sad. Sad commentary.
Last week, I don't know.
Yeah, so overall not good. I agree with you. It just didn't feel like they rose to the level of the game that they were working, which is like job one, for these guys. I think some housekeeping. Billy Strauss, not really much of an update on him. Marcus Freeman said he led the fight song in the locker room. When he went down in the first half, it looked bad.
Yeah, he came right back out.
In terms of his reaction, and he hopped up and kind of walked off and, kind of showed some real guts there. And I think that was just like, that's the way Notre Dame played tonight. It wasn't just Love, obviously, but I thought just like the physicality overall, like Jalen Sneed and Adon Shuler, they really hit hard. And that was another thing that I thought was a real hallmark of last year's team is you knew who the more physical team was every game. And they really made you hurt. And I'm not saying they haven't done that this year, but I don't think they've done it this year like they did it tonight. And so that's another part. If I'm Marcus Freeman, it's satisfying. I feel really good about the team being able to like, hey, that's the level of physicality we need to play with. That's what it looks like. You did it against USC. Now you need to do it over the final 5 games of the season.
I agree. I mean, Drake Bowen with the big breakup on 4th and 3, which, 2 plays earlier, I think it was Lake McCree, the tight end, wide open, streaking into the end zone on the left side. Jeremiyah does not see him. Generally speaking, I've said this on this pod before, I think you got to take the points, and it's easy to say look in hindsight and say USC could have been playing to tie or win at the end. But that's Lincoln Riley. He's been aggressive his whole career, and he thought he had an advantage with the way Notre Dame, the no huddle they went on that 4th down play. I mean, that opening drive was perfect. Notre Dame's defense looked completely
totally lost
on that first drive.
And
you're thinking,
we got back to Purdue hands up, pointing, Grayslake getting on the field like that. There were some rough looks early, and like to their credit, they figured it out. Like I thought they played incredibly buttoned up for the rest of the game. There was, like Gray got beat, played with bad technique. Tay Johnson turned the wrong way in coverage one time. It turned into
Tay delivered a hit in the red zone early on too, where he came from the other side of the field. I mean, I thought they made, outside of that first drive with I think it was a 24-yard pass, they played free. They weren't always like right.
Yeah.
But I'd rather them be wrong at full speed than confused like they were on that first drive. And I thought they got their stuff together in that regard.
Yeah, there was one play, I think, in this third quarter where Leonard Moore and Dallas Golden weren't sure what was going on in third down. The ball went to the other side, so USC didn't punish them for it. So I mean, they definitely had some moments, but I think that it is okay on this Notre Dame centric podcast to give credit to USC. Like, they have a bunch of really good players and they play fast. And if you're not on your stuff, that can make you look bad. And there were a couple times tonight where it made Notre Dame look bad. But I mean, it's worth. I get it. The weather probably impacted a team that wanted to throw the ball 40 times. But USC led the nation in yards per play coming in. They were third in scoring. They finished tonight at 5.6 yards per play, which I think is basically like 3 yards off their average. They were insanely efficient this year, and they were averaging, 42, 45 points. So basically that got cut in half as well. I thought, was it a perfect defensive performance? Certainly not. I thought the physicality they played with was perfect in that category, and then they were good enough with the other stuff. I mean, that's 2 more picks for the secondary. I mean, they had 4 last week against NC State. They're on a bit of a heater after a really, really rough start to the season. So full credit to those guys, especially without, Devonta Smith couldn't go tonight. I thought that would have been a real key to the game. Dallas Golden got picked on a little bit. He also had a nice PBU in the game. So it's not like he was kind of all freshman hanging on for dear life. And was one of the many crap talkers after the game too. So, freshmen get a little bit of that post game as well.
Did you? I mean, it's a rivalry game. There's always going to be jawing. Did you see what happened exactly?
I don't. And it's like, they were really salty with Louisville last year. It was what Jeremiyah Love say. Somebody asked him like the
conversations.
Trash talk was 17. I'm not sure who that was.
And I tweeted. I want to make sure I quote this right. He got asked about the conversations. I quote, on the field between him and DeCarlos Nicholson, cornerback, and he just smiled and said they weren't good conversations, but he gave a very matter of fact, like, 2 competitors. We left it talking.
Style,
it's just very. I stayed. The way we're situated on the final 5 minutes of the game in the stadium on the field, we're in one end zone. And I decided to, because the U.S., again, I don't really know what happened post game, and it wasn't too bad, but a lot of USC players just immediately ran off the field, off the tunnel, just to get out of there. Yeah. And so I went there immediately, and you're going through a small tunnel. The fans are right on you there. There's nothing like out of line or inappropriate, but that was as like juiced up, as angry of a Notre Dame crowd as I've seen, as far as just, relentlessly booing these guys the whole way off the field.
Yeah.
It was I think
good atmosphere.
Good atmosphere. I mean, the combination of the rain, this probably being the last, well, I don't know, maybe being the last game. The hatred between the 2 schools. You can drink in the stadium now. Like, it felt like a real home field advantage in a way that A&M didn't, probably because A&M brought so many people with them, and frankly Notre Dame didn't give them as much to cheer for. Playing California Love at the end as well, very nice touch. You knew they had something up their sleeve.
Yeah, I mean, between that, the Hallelujah thing, like, I feel like the stadium soundtrack they're on point this year. They're doing a nice job.
Which you gotta love Higher Love, and they've played. I don't know if they played that yet. They've played a lot of other Love songs after Big Love plays.
A little Huey Lewis in the News. Yes. I think the Power of Love has come out. So. And I think, God, it's like Sinatra, but not Sinatra as well. So they have.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they played it the A&M game. It also, I don't know if this was intentional or not, but pregame, or I should say the first drive, I'm out on the little deck they have here because it wasn't raining yet, and I wanted to take in the environment. And I'm like right above the USC band. It felt like every time the USC band tried to play their fight song, a random song or announcement came on the scoreboard, just drowning them out. And I can't think that a lot of that was a coincidence.
No, it's like it's a rivalry game, and like I thought you felt like that spilled from the stands onto the field, spilled from one sideline to the other sideline. I think Jeremiyah Love was getting into it like at the end of the first half, where the team sort of came out a little bit, and like it never went anywhere bad, but like they really didn't like each other, which is awesome. I mean, that's like, I'm sitting there at the end of the game thinking, like, in what world would you want less of this in your college football life? I can't think of one. Like this was, I'm not saying this is like the greatest college football game of all time that we just watched, but it was a game that is a reminder of why and how college football is freaking awesome. So long may this series continue, because there's no excuse for it not to.
I think the football gods made their feelings very, very clear with the one, by threatening this game with bad weather all day, and two, by like relenting and letting this whole thing go on relatively without hitch, without any actual delay.
Let this be a lesson to you, Lincoln Riley. Yeah,
exactly. I did come out of this week more optimistic than ever that they will be playing next year.
Same.
From my understanding, it's going to require, and you touch on this a little bit, it's going to require some movement. You know, I think Notre Dame and USC are on the same page much more than maybe Baltimore with the Big Ten right now, as far as moving things around. And candidly, and USC is not exactly the most popular team in the Big Ten right now, because I'm in Michigan, just held up a potential $1 billion private capital deal, which I think a lot of us would actually, applaud USC in Michigan for their attitudes toward that. But I don't think the conference is bending over backwards to do them any favors short term right now. But something's going to have to be worked out. Again, I think both sides, talking to them this week, sounded more committed than ever before to get it done. And it won't be more than like since this thing's been publicly on the fringe.
Since Lincoln Riley spoke this into existence about a year and a half ago.
Which you're welcome, by the way. I asked him that question because he was talking about Alabama scheduling, and I was like, is he going with this where I think he's going with it? I better ask him. And then he really went off.
You created 18 months of stories there.
I did. Not contracts, me. No. But yeah, I will say this week, talking to both sides, like it was as cordial of like, yep, we've been working hand in hand for 6 months now, and we're committed to doing this. We just need to figure out how to make it work. Great. And when we do announce something, and I don't think that's imminent, but it's obviously going to be, in the next couple months, it would not just be a 1 or 2 year off either. I think they're going to have something relatively long-term to share.
Good.
From the sound of it.
Yeah.
But like we could pretend not, because it adds to the atmosphere of this game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We'll just sort of take that as is. I guess before we get into questions, shout out to our good friends at Roback.com. That's RHOBACK.com. Use promo code Irish for 20% off your first order. Polos, quarter zips. Saw some game day polos out there today. In fact, I was at Tap House at the Edge, and some guy bought me some drinks who was wearing a Notre Dame game day polo from Roback. So
drinking on game day.
Shout out to, no. A game day polo. It was the day before the game.
Okay.
Friday night, not today. Come on, Matt. I'm a professional.
Go with the ad read.
I might drink during a podcast, but
I might drink myself with pizza or home run in pizza, which leads us to our next sponsor, Obvious Shirts, OBVIOUS.com. Friend of the pod, great pod merchandise, t-shirts, quarter zips, hoodies, crew necks, you name it. Southern Cal's afraid to play us. Saw some of those online and in the stands today. Appreciate the support with the new merch there. And hey, still technically true until they sign a new deal. So be sure to gobble those shirts up while they're still available. And also, this weekend only, in honor of friend of the pod, Clark Lee, putting up 31 points on a former friend of Notre Dame, Brian Kelly, in a win.
Not friend of the pod, though.
31% off Domes on Domers t-shirts. You may remember we did 40% off last year when Vanderbilt beat Alabama and put up 40. So 31% off this weekend only for Domes on Domers t-shirts. Those happen to be my favorite, as you can imagine, for obvious reasons, no pun intended. But you can go on obviousshirts.com, get those shirts. And before we get to questions, I'd also like to thank our friends at DraftKings. The rivalries, the marching bands, the upsets. Saturdays just got way more fun. College football is back. You think you know the game? Put your knowledge to the test with DraftKings Sportsbook and turn your picks into big payouts. With live betting, rivalry week odds boosts, and more, DraftKings Sportsbook has everything you need to own every Saturday. Notre Dame plays Boston College in 2 weeks. You'll be able to bet on that line soon enough. And here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers, bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code INDEPENDENT. That's code INDEPENDENT for new customers to get $300 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-78-97777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, fees may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Can you tell I had a lot of coffee tonight for this drive back to Power?
Oh my God. Yeah, we're all kind of pacing ourselves with a steady drip of caffeine today. I think I had about 3 gallons of Diet Coke this afternoon while watching LSU lose to Vanderbilt.
I'm very much a can't have coffee after 3 p.m. guy. Otherwise, I'll be up all night. But when I'm driving 2 hours in the middle of the night,
you have to be up all night.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. Let's get some questions. BM12310. Parentheses BM12. First, okay, you're the first, but you do have an actual question. Why don't we just run the ball? I assume that means the red zone. There was a part tonight where, and this was less a commentary on CJ Carr than it was, damn, they're really good on the ground. Like, why would you ever throw a pass again today? Like, USC could not stop the run.
No, they couldn't. I don't know. Like Carr I think from the first half on, was like, it just didn't feel good watching him today. In terms of like how settled in he was. I don't like when they roll him out in short yardage. I don't think that seems to be a solution. They keep trying it. I'm not sure that I would continue trying that moving forward. I loved how they worked quarterback power into the red zone package at the end. I'm not saying you need to do that every time like Riley Leonard, but I love that as a go-to option. I think it's really smart to sort of get back to that, even if that's not Carr's strength. I don't know. Like, I didn't have a huge problem with how like the run pass balance tonight. They only threw it 26 times. There were a couple where I was like, I probably would run that. But overall, I thought the play calling was pretty good. God knows that a run game was productive. But you got, like, I think Carr, just those quick outs to phase on work pretty almost automatic, not quite. But there's nothing down the field tonight. I would have more of a problem if they were taking deep shots at missing them, opposed to what they ended up doing. I thought the game plan was pretty good.
I liked the other in the red zone, and by red zone I mean like goal to go situations.
The interception was just better. Come on now.
You could just feel it when he went back.
Yeah,
and he went back for a while, and like I've got like the angel and the devil on my shoulder, and I'm thinking Miami all over again. And then the other side's like, yeah, that's not going to happen twice. This is probably not going to end well. And sure enough, it ended terribly.
Although, frankly, would they have made the field goal? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, that's so. I mean, much like A&M, right, where they block a punt early and then they end up losing because they drop a snap on an extra point.
Mm-hmm.
Special teams has just been Jekyll and Hyde in these big games this season. You get the Jarian Price 100-yard kickoff return right after a USC touchdown to retake the lead and essentially win the game. And you've got a missed extra point, a missed short field goal. Put them, I wouldn't say in a bind because you're up 10 late, but 4th and 15, you're like, what are they going to do here? Yeah, they might as well go for it. You're at the 28. Why would you kick a 45-yard field goal in the rain when your guy hasn't proven that he can do it yet? But I mean, that's something they need to work out, over the bye week and over the second half of the season. So, I mean, just mention some of the mistakes and some of the special team plays. Just a fun game all around. I mean, you look at the big plays, which is defined in the official box score as rushes of 10 or more or completions of 15 or more. USC at 11, Notre Dame at 12. And again, that doesn't include special teams. So there was a lot to like about this game just from a pure entertainment. I'm a fan of football standpoint. I mean, it felt like it could go for a while either way. Me and you were on a group text, I think earlier this week, where someone brought up, Freeman really hasn't won a whole lot of close games. Penn State was one of them. Navy was a backdoor in 2022, and then Cal, his first win. But all of his wins, for the most part, are blowouts or, convincing. And this was not trending that way. And it made me, with the way USC came out, some of the injuries, the special teams shortcomings. Like I just felt like 2 weeks ago, I was on record on this pod, like Notre Dame's going to blow them out. This is a terrible matchup for USC. USC plays a damn good game at Michigan. Notre Dame has 2 key injuries coming into this game in the trenches. USC comes out and does what they do offensively on that first drive. I'm thinking, okay, maybe we're back to square one, week 2 all over again, right? Like maybe Lincoln Riley really does have them in a bind. And I'll give USC credit. They were much better. They've been much better this season than I had any reason to think they'd be. I don't think you could take anything for granted when you lose at Illinois, but so long as they don't lose a game outside of Oregon, which they will lose in a couple of weeks, I think if they go 9-3 with that recruiting class coming back, all of a sudden we're not talking about like, when are they going to fire Lincoln Riley? We're talking about USC football actually on the way back, which, as much as Notre Dame fans don't want to hear it, it's generally a good thing for a rivalry.
Yeah, perfectly.
But then it was a fun game. This was last year's was fun because of the stakes involved and because of how it ended. But I just felt, the tension in this game was as high as it's been in this rivalry in a minute. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like games at Notre Dame Stadium that were close, like authentically close.
15 was close. I mean, USC was winning in the fourth quarter in 15.
Yeah,
they ended up losing.
Yeah, and I think they ended up winning by 10. And I don't know if we talked about it on this podcast or maybe it was another. I thought that this game maybe had some like 2015 vibes to it, and the scoreline ended up being, or the margin was exactly spot on with it. So, anyway, I thought Notre Dame would score a little bit more. I thought USC scored about what I thought they were going to. But
I thought both would score more. But yeah, I mean, it was similar. Your analogy
was just highly entertaining. Like this was a super fun game to watch. Hopefully the broadcast captured how fun it was. But it wasn't like a fun game in the game 2 years ago fun kind of way where it's just like like a Schadenfreude game. This was just a really fun, explosive, entertaining back and forth college football game where like Notre Dame, it felt like Notre Dame was in real jeopardy of losing the game for most of the second half. That I know that might not make it fun as a Notre Dame fan, but like as someone who's just like loves crazy college football, like this was a great product out there tonight. Tonight was like why people love college football.
USC throws for 328, Notre Dame runs for 306. Just a great clash of the Titans and contrasting philosophies with the home team in the rain ultimately winning. We're on the field, at the end, and Anja Carlo, the reporter, turns to me and says, like, I really hope they don't field storm. And I'm like, I'm not the fun police. Like, I don't necessarily understand why they stormed to 23, but again, like, you're in college, have fun. I'm not going to judge you for it. I was an idiot back then too, but like, I'm really glad they didn't do it tonight because like it would have been, people would have gotten seriously hurt.
Yeah, I think that the tension between the teams would have boiled over.
That too. No, I just meant the weather-wise, like getting down. Well, that too, but like it was not. I mean, you walked onto that field, like you had to hold two railings just to go step to step. I felt like with the way the rain was coming down at the end of the night there, like it was not safe to do that. So I'm glad cooler heads prevailed in that regard. But fun atmosphere nonetheless. Bill Fuzz, what do I do with my bye week besides shop for Roback shirts? Shop for obvious shirts. Oh wait. Oh, look at his picture. I didn't even see it. Southern Cal's afraid to play us.
Yes,
obvious shirt. Wow.
Let's go, Bill.
Bill, listener of the week.
He's already bought his obvious shirts.
You get to hold that title for 2 weeks since there's a bye week. Although we'll probably do something midweek this week. We just won't do anything next Saturday. Thank you, Bill. He has another question that actually crossed my mind a number of times this year. Did any highly regarded position coach or coordinator make a better offseason move than Jaywan Sider? I was told Notre Dame paid him $1 million to come, which is crazy for running back.
A lot of money.
Coach, but good for him. My only counter to that would be, from my understanding of the situation in Happy Valley right now, those assistants run 3-year contracts, and there's a clause in them where if the boss gets fired, you all get paid full, guaranteed 3 years pay regardless, not mitigating. So we actually financially might have been better off staying in Happy Valley. And maybe if he said, wait a minute, Katron Allen's a lot better than Nick Singleton this year, we should give him the ball. They beat Oregon and like they're off and running. But
maybe they could have even beaten Iowa tonight, but didn't work out.
I thought they were going to lose that game, under normal circumstances, but 25-24 is like Iowa football. Like you can't beat Iowa in a game like that.
J1 Sider, the best offseason career decision since Marcus
Freeman. Although again, like I think Freeman was getting hired to take over midseason and become the head coach at LSU. Not saying that's a better job, but it wasn't like he'd be out of work the way most of that staff was after they got fired. Superman TD Jesus. Can someone please ask Freeman what they are doing about Carr's atrocious decision-making on fourth downs and why it's literally always the worst possible outcome? I think you meant third downs, although,
there's some fourth downs in there too.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Yeah, the NC State, there were, I think, 2 fourth downs that were bad. Tonight, there was 1. I don't know. I think it's... We've talked to Denbrock and Carr a little bit about this, and I think that their sort of like ability to be simpatico of like, I like this, let's get you in these, like, it just doesn't seem like what they're calling for Carr in those scenarios Carr's comfortable with. I don't know how to explain that any more than that, or like I don't have any like
feels
concrete evidence. It just feels
first
like
2 drives of Miami over and over again on like 30.
Yeah. It's not, it just feels off. So I think it's something that Denbrock in the bye week with Carr, they need to sit down and like, all right, it's 4th and 1 at the 6. What are we going to do? What do you actually feel good about? Because I can't imagine CJ Carr's like, I love rolling left and throwing back right. Like it just looks kind of awkward.
And also the defenses you're facing, USC, like they could not stop the run. And even if they stop them on first and second down, you're going to count on them to stop you on 3rd and 4th. And oh, by the way, even if they do, you're going to make them go 99 yards, like in the rain. I think, they overthought it in that regard. Just a situation that they need to figure out. Anthony G. Nice interception by Christian Gray, but it feels like it's either a PI or he's getting beat. The guy's in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
He's living the life of a corner. He lived it last year within the USC game. He lived it last year within the last 2 playoff games, and he sure as hell lived it tonight. I do think, and I don't know him personally. I don't want to like speak to his character, but I do think it says something about a guy who at that position who can keep coming back and not let one play turn into 2. We've seen that God knows how many times.
We saw it from him last year.
We saw it from USC. A guy named Gray who played that position in 2011.
Yeah. He never was able to. Yeah. I think, and I asked Christian Gray about this week because he was talking about like, I'm just better at that part of football now. Like I'm better at not letting one bad play turn into 2 bad plays, turn into 3 bad plays. And like even at USC last year, he was not that good at it. But I think it shows some maturity. Like he's going against 2 NFL receivers. It's hard. Like that they're gonna make plays too. Like I think if you just took Notre Dame's 2 corners and USC's 2 receivers, Leonard Moore is the best of those 4, but Christian Gray would be 4th of those 4, right?
Yeah, Mekhi Lemon might have an argument for being the top.
Better than Leonard Moore. I mean,
before tonight, I don't know. I mean, tonight might change a few minds.
Yeah, look, Mekhi Lemon, I think beat Leonard Moore at least once.
I kept looking like post game. I'm like, he didn't do anything tonight. And it's like, well, he still had 4 catches for 76 yards, and Jacoby Lane had a really good night. So
which should have been better.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, Jacoby Lane dropped. I think it was a big 4th down or something. Like he did not. He left some stuff on the field.
Yes. Bill Fuzz again. Will Jeremiyah Love legitimately enter the Heisman conversation now? He might. Yeah. I mean,
yes.
You need numbers at some point, and not that he didn't have them before, but to set a record in a rivalry game in prime time in this kind of environment, he's a known name, known commodity. He's on a marquee program. I'd be surprised if we didn't. And this is not inside information. I'd be surprised if we didn't see something either this week during the bye week or next week. Some form of Heisman campaign or some kind of social campaign that Notre Dame puts out around him, assuming he's okay with it, because
Which he
is he? Okay.
Yeah.
Say if anyone might be like, nah, I don't want that. I could see him.
No. He's good with it. But like we do a Heisman straw poll at The Athletic. I had not considered Jeremiyah Love. Now he will be very high on my list. Like I like who's higher.
Probably Ty Simpson. I didn't see what he did tonight.
Simpson, maybe
Diego
Mendoza.
Pavia will be there.
Pavia, I could put Pavia, but
I mean, like, it's wide open.
Love's going to be on my list.
Throw a lot of names there. Yeah, he'll definitely be in consideration for me as well. Tristan Tahara did LR Lincoln Riley not shake hands with MF. That's, I believe, Marcus Freeman, not me. He didn't shake hands with me. It sure didn't look like it. I don't know. I was on the field. I didn't see.
Did not see it.
I mean, it is crazy post game. Although if the head coaches didn't, that would that's they still find a way to do it unless it's a field storm and you literally are running for your life out there. Yeah. So I don't know. I'll go back and look. Stephen Blackison, sleep over at the Sampson house. Maybe another time.
Yes, but not. Hopefully, maybe like it'd be more intentional, not a weather delay.
Roberto Sanchez, is Marcus getting an extension this week? He has to. I don't think he has to. He got one after last USC game, but no, I mean, he might get something because
it wouldn't, like, talking to people wouldn't surprise me.
This week
would surprise me.
Yeah.
Would not surprise me if this is like, hey guys, let's put our heads together on this and figure out how we can, pay market value considering what Cignetti's making.
Yeah, I mean, there are going to be so many open jobs and so few quality candidates for a lot of them that everybody's getting paid. Everybody. Yeah. Irish drummer was in the upper bowl today. Crowd was great. Seemed like the whole stadium stood on their feet for most of the night. It seemed awesome. It seemed seemed really, really fun. It was a cool environment. I did not see this. I don't know if it was caught on camera, but when I was on the field, there was some scuttlebutt about it, and I talked to an usher, I guess pre-game, like pre-game before like the stands were filled. A USC fan snuck onto the field, dumped ashes onto the field.
I heard about this.
Jumped into the stands and got away, which is funny. Like, I've heard. Well, I know for a fact because I've known a few of the past leprechauns. Like, that's a real thing with Notre Dame fans. Like, hey, can you do this? Or we're going to try to do this.
Rarely do you hear from opposing fans.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But it's kind of funny. Like, there's something like dark and permanent about it when it's like, this might be our last game ever here. Here you go, Dad, or something. Like,
and it's all like melted away.
I also say this, not to get too personal, but my dad, who passed away 2 years ago, was one of 6. They're all Italian immigrants, and they all did a family Italy trip that they just got back from to spread his ashes in his hometown. And it sounded amazing, but I love my aunts and uncles. I'm just picturing the Jennifer Coolidge White Lotus scene of them being on a boat with other tourists and the wind just blowing back in their faces, and these poor people who paid a lot of money for a cruise just being like, what the hell did we sign up for? So hopefully everything went smooth over across the pond. The Chop 66, hilarious how Freeman is as nonplussed as us at Christian Gray's main character life. A lot of big words and phrases there. But it is kind of funny. Like, Freeman got like not animated, but like tell he had some stuff to him talking about it.
Yeah.
He sees what we see.
I remember asking him the Christian Gray question after USC last year. And I think barely under his breath, he started with like, God damn. Like, it was just like, I think Freeman's just like, how do you live this way, Christian?
Right.
Like, what is this about? It's a lot. There's a lot happening with Christian Gray. A lot.
Mike Idlebez, I think I'm pronouncing it right. I want to live my life with the competence and resilience of Christian Gray. Cormac Hewen, Pete Poll 24 stopped by the postgame tailgate, the one you thought was A&M fans last time. I was going to comment as we do another like post midnight pod at night here. We don't hear the music coming out from the tailgates, maybe because the windows are closed with the rain, but it was really banging after the A&M game.
Yes.
Nonstop playlist.
Hardcore hard tailgating post game for A&M.
Lee Marie, typical SC to do all possible not to play in the rain. How far will Riley drive the program down from its former glory? I did not hear that. I heard I heard Notre Dame. I heard from 3 different people that Notre Dame tried to move it up an hour or two, and USC wanted to play everything as scheduled. In defense of USC, I don't know what that would have done. I suppose had there been a lightning delay at the end, it could have helped.
In hindsight, it worked out
avoid
fine.
that, but like it worked out fine for everybody. Adam Falcone, any significance or insignificance to recruits not being able to be part of normal game day festivities due to the rain, assuming the game itself helped in that regard?
Yeah, I don't think that's significant at all. I mean, they didn't do the player walk. Warm-ups were somewhat shortened. They cut out, I think, America the Beautiful from the pregame because it's like they just had less to work with. But the recruits were still outside the stadium. They were still in there. They had, I think it's Cam Spell, the 5-star running back who was committed to Penn State from outside the Pittsburgh area, was here today. Pretty good product to put on the field for a high school running back. So yeah, I wouldn't expect, and I think this is lost sometimes. Recruits, I don't want to say they don't care who wins the game, but they care a lot less than you'd think. Because either you lost and like, well, if I come here, it will be the reason that you win, or you won. Great, let's go party. So I don't think that they lost anything. To all the things that Matt and I have been talking about so far, like the stadium environment was awesome. Like I don't know how you could be a recruit here and not pick up on some of that. So I would say overall the recruiting stuff is positive. It just the player walk got scrapped.
Isn't that, and Love got asked about Chad Bowden postgame, but didn't Chad Bowden host Jeremiyah Love during the Marshall game? Wasn't that the story? And he took him out in the third quarter when it looked bad and just golf cart drove them around campus to show them.
Sounds like what they did with Manti Te'o. I don't know. Yeah,
Te'o was the jorts in the snow with Syracuse, right?
Yeah, like, hey, let's just go back to the recruiting launch. I'm not sure.
I think that's the Love story, if I'm not mistaken. There's a question here about Love. Where is I just had it? Sean O'Connor, 4 bourbon and Sprite zeros in. That's all. Did the coaching staff know how close Love was to the single game record? I know it wasn't like 5 to 10 yards, but he could have gone close. What was the record again? I'm trying to look it up. Estimate had more.
260. I think Julius Jones was like 260 something. I wrote it down earlier. Yeah, and so it's like it was 262.
Okay.
He really wasn't that close, even though I guess it's maybe close as a relative term here. But yeah, I don't. And look, the game. If Notre Dame was up by 14 in the fourth quarter, all right, you can talk about it. They weren't. They were still playing like real game pressure football. So forget it.
I suppose on the last drive when they went Price heavy. And I wouldn't say Price has fumbling issues, but he has fumbled before, and you're trying to ice the game. But I don't know seeing that he was still almost 40 yards away from it, I don't know. And the game dictated that as much as anything. Another Roberto Sanchez. Does Marcus get a nice extension this week? Probably not this week, but eventually.
Yeah,
probably.
I think it's like because one, I think we're both in agreement. He's not leaving for another college job. Like that's just not happening.
No, I mean, if Columbus ever opened, that would be a conversation that'd have to be had. I don't think he would do it.
Sure. But, I don't either. But yeah, and it's like, look, I think that he knows next year is set up for something potentially very special here. But many coaches just sort of are looking like a year-to-year thing too. So I think that he will get a bump. But I don't think they're in a rush to do it.
Michael Brady, we make it in at 10-2. Yeah, it was almost not great for Notre Dame all weekend. Miami,
that was
planting against Louisville is not good. I still think Miami wins the ACC. I mean, but it got a lot more complicated. And then A&M today hung on for dear life in beating Arkansas by 3. I believe Pete and I talked about this off air. If you haven't yet, go on Twitter, see some of the trolling that's been going on in SEC country. I started with A&M because we talk about them. They had a tweet of a player wearing a 12th jersey, number 12 jersey, 12th man, on a motorcycle. It said, went hog wild. after they beat Bobby Petrino. Vanderbilt, again, Clark Lee, friend of the program, beats Brian Kelly. Vanderbilt tweets a photo that says, "To those in the visiting press room, consider yourself warned." And it's a sign, it's a piece of paper affixed to the wall under the media workroom sign that says, "Danger. The room you're about to enter may contain elevated temperatures, slam tables, raised voices. Proceed with caution." I'm not sure, like, the SEC's had a coach that other coaches have had more fun at the expense of than Brian Kelly.
No.
Like, the outsider status there is just so patently obvious to everybody that it makes it easy for them to make fun of him. That was not, I texted with I'll call him a former Vanderbilt source who Pete and I know very well, who may or may not have been in the crowd tonight for Notre Dame, who said that was, I think, a former Notre Dame employee who's young, who taped that, I think, yesterday as a joke, took the picture and saved it for tweeting
Just
after
such a
the win.
moment.
Yes. So I can't imagine someone who ever worked in Notre Dame not being fond of Brian Kelly, but I mean,
Yeah.
that's what it is here. Let's see. That one thing. This one's good. Brian Burke. Marcus deserves to be no worse than the second highest paid coach in the state of Indiana.
I think it's fair.
Is he not second already?
I think he is second already. I don't know. I mean, is it Shane Steichen? Who's the Colts coach? I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
Yeah. So I think that, you should. I'm not saying he needs to be making more than Signetti, but I don't know. It's a conversation worth having.
Matthew Park, status check on Chad Bowen. I think you mean Bowden. I saw him post game. Said hello.
Yeah.
He seemed to be in good spirits given the way this one went. You look at, like, this game and this rivalry and the history and the implications as far as, like, playoff elimination game, yada, yada, yada. And I'm thinking, especially with the rain, like, wouldn't it be like the most Chad Bowden thing if they win and he just plants the flag at midfield at Notre Dame?
He's got, some Lane Kiffin energy in that way, but potentially. So yeah, that would have been just like another interesting chapter in this storied series that needs to continue.
Superman TD Jesus, not one mention of Bowden on the broadcast.
I don't think. I mean, it's that's a very, like, Chad Bowden is a very inside baseball story.
He is. I was surprised. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised because it's social media, but, like, the idea that, like, oh, Chad has intel on Notre Dame and he's sharing it with USC. Like, no shit, Sherlock. I mean, like,
I mean, did he not mention that Jadarian Price can return a kickoff 100 yards? Because everyone at USC should already know that.
My boss about the players we're trying to beat who I recruited there. Like, yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah. Pat Brocky, Billy Schrouth was a warrior. He probably knew his season was done when he sucked it up going back in the game after the injury, but exemplified courage and devotion to the ultimate goal. Season done? I think that, I mean, look, it looked really bad in the moment, but he came right back out there. Don't know what happened later in the game.
Good time for a bye week.
Good time for a bye week. It's always a good time for a bye week. Come on,
it always comes at a good time.
Well, and Anthony G, can we expect the injured guys back in 2 weeks? I'd be surprised if Jaden Grayhouse wasn't back in 2 weeks. If he's not, I'd start recruiting a new slot receiver for next year.
Yeah. I would say one notable thing, Cooper Flanagan played tonight for the first time this season. I think that I would hope that they would only play him 4 regular season games. So you've got 3 of the last 5.
Right.
But the fact that he was available, they put him in short yardage at the goal line, like, that's a good sign for where that's going.
There's a question here about putting a 300-pound fullback in again that we were talking about a couple of weeks ago. Trying to figure out who that still not sure who that will be, but I think all options should be on the table as far as that goes. Let's get to a couple more real quick. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's Roberto again. I think he probably sent it twice. I'm like, we don't need any more Marcus extension questions. I think they're trying to play us out of here. They turned all the lights off and they keep checking in on the door. Andre King, friend of the show. Hello, Matt. Hello, Mr. Sampson. As a former high school center, Joe Otting played amazing.
Yes.
Jack Zapp, Otting, Lambert, and CJ next year will be fun. I thought, like that that held up really well. And I was not sure how it was going to.
That was, I mean, talking to people around Notre Dame, like inside the Goog and stuff, like I think there was serious concern about Joe Adon and like how that was going to hold up. And like from the get-go, he was good. And that immediately was a non-story.
No, he played great. It was a very gutty and impressive performance. Because again, we didn't talk about Gabriel Rubio tonight because we didn't really need to. Like I was worried about both lines losing those players coming into this game, and it ended up being just fine. Jay Carr, guys, that was me. That just walked into Matt's setup. Want to know what you look like, Brian Van Gorder?
Oh! Did I tell you I ran into Will Ferrell in the bathroom here? He was up on the up on the 9th floor with us.
I saw Aaron Boone. He was in the ED suite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it's it was pretty cool. I was hoping to like get him by the coffee machine so I could be like, hey, this is the world's greatest cup of coffee, but I couldn't get any Elf references in there with him. So
he's one I'd actually struggle with because there's so many dumb quote references that
I seized up. I wasn't sure where I needed to go with the quotes. So
awesome. We're gonna get going because they're trying to kick us out of here right now. Appreciate all you guys staying with us at 1:22 a.m. See 538 of you tuned in live. Kick back, have a few, soak up this win, the last one till next year probably against USC. You got the bye week coming up. Pete and I will be back midweek this week. That's the plan. Obviously, we won't be doing anything next weekend, but I hope to have a good guest this Wednesday. The call is in. We've been getting a lot of pod bumps lately, much like our previous iteration. Whoever comes on, good things.
Even our sponsors are getting pod bumps.
Exactly. So buy all those Domes on Domer shirts for 31% off over the next 24 hours. And continue to shop at Roback, eat home run and pizza, and place your bets on DraftKings as well. Thank you all for joining us. Pete and I are going to walk out of here. Maybe the person who said he was at Pole 24 will be out there, and I'm not going to drink and drive, but it'd be nice to take in that atmosphere a little bit on the way out. But thank you all for coming out tonight. Notre Dame 34, USC 24 is the final. Notre Dame has a bye week, and Pete and I will see you on the latest episode of The Independent later this week. Thanks, everybody.